Well, happy hump day to you. Chris Hare here, the world champion crypto cowboy, bringing you an update on Ethereum. It's had a pretty big run, looking pretty strong, but I think it might be time for a cool off. We'll have a little bit of pullback here, and then I think we run again. Fed's just cut interest rates another 0.25% and offered to buy back some T-bonds. So that's bullish for the crypto and the markets in general. So we're going to figure it all out. We're going to figure out where we're going and then how much higher we go. But I am a world champion rodeo cowboy in the team roping and cowboy mounted shooting events. And I'm taking the strategies and the discipline that I use right outside the door here. I'm going to bring them right here to the crypto desk, change them up just a little bit. And if you stick with me long enough, hopefully we'll make y'all world champion crypto traders. So go ahead and like and subscribe, tap that bell notification. You're not going to want to miss out on a single episode. We're going to cover this thing all the way from an hourly out to a weekly chart. So I'm going to have you some short-term targets along with some longer-term of where we think we're going to go. Right now, we're in fear. This measures market sentiment. We're at a 25. We were at a 24 yesterday, so we're coming up just a little bit. And so the question begs, where do we go from here? I use this for spot purchases. When we drop into fear, I buy a little spot. When we drop into extreme fear, I buy a little more. And then I sit on it, forget about it. When we go up into these greeds, I sell it off. When we get to extreme greed, I sell out. And it's a strategy that's worked well for me. I've been DCAing into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana over the course of since we've been pulling back into fear and extreme fear. I think our investment's about $300 and we're up $20 on it. So we're getting in the right direction. But this is the BTCC exchange. They have a great deal right now. You can trade futures, you can trade spot. $10,000 up to a 10% cashback bonus on your first time deposit. I know they have some other contests going on as well, but if you check the links in my description, you'll find a link to that. If nothing else, just go get you some free money. I mean, they give you 10% on everything you put in. What a deal that is. But like I said, you'll find the link to that in my description. I'm going to start trading some futures on here. I kind of like the exchange itself. So that's where I'm at. Moving out to an altcoin season index. We're at 33. We keep moving into Bitcoin season. I kept thinking that maybe we'd start to see it move the other way, and it just hasn't yet. But it's relevant since we're talking about Ethereum. When Bitcoin goes up and we're in these seasons, altcoins trickle up. And when Bitcoin tanks, alts absolutely bleed out. And the way Ethereum is ran, I kind of thought that maybe we were pulling off of this, but we haven't just yet. So we'll need to watch that really close. Moving out to a liquidation heat map. This is what the market makers use to track your liquidity. They don't really care about TA. All they care about is where your liquidation points are. And they draw the charts chasing after them. Everything above price action is a short trade. Everything below price action is a long trade. And you can see cumulatively, we've got about $300 million worth of shorts and about 1.6 billion worth of long. So it's to the downside. You can see there's a lot of bright pockets. Everybody piled in short as soon as we topped out here. Market makers kind of made us scammy there for a minute, but now they're starting to pile in. But there's longs all the way down, guys. I think we've got to do some kind of retest, and the charts are going to show that. So we'll go ahead and get over into that. Start off with an Ethereum on the hourly chart. I do post all these charts in the crypto school, and I post signals as time arises. We took some longs yesterday on this pump and made a killing. I thought we might have a little more in the tank, and we tried to go long on it. Didn't work out, but we only trade 1% of our total bag, so you can afford to lose a few because when you hit one, it pays really well. But you can see we've gone all the way up into this impulsive extension. And right now we're sitting between the daily 50 simple moving average and the daily 50 smooth moving average. That's what the yellow lines are. What I think's got to happen here is we've got to come down at least to this 1 hour retracement zone where your hourly 50s are. The yellow is a simple. The white is a smooth moving average. The smooth moving average, the charts really like to respect it. You can see that on my chart. But both of those take 50 of these candles, put fluid lines on the chart, work as excellent support and resistance. Your impulsive side of the golden zone sits between 3112 and 3169. I think if we don't bounce here between 3200 and 3168, that's where we bounce. And then you've got your golden zone down here at $3,100 to $3,000. The weekly 50 sits at about 3,050. So we've got to stay above that. But I think we've got a lot of support below us now. And I think there's an opportunity for a little more upside. Moving out to the 4 hour chart, you can see we've broken out of this bear flag descending channel, whatever you want to call it. And now we've gone up. We've completed the course on the first thing. The first thing is to break out, break the previous high, then move up. We've done that. So like I said, what I think is we've got to come down here retest the top of this somewhere around $3,100, and then I think we work back up. It's possible that we hold this daily 50 at about 3,300, but I don't think it's likely. But then if we can bounce it somewhere above this 4-hour golden zone, somewhere above these 4-hour 50s, I think the 4-hour extension is in play, $3,400 to $3,600. Market makers kind of wanted to tease it today, so I'm still just kind of watching. We did reject off of that 200 simple moving average for now, but everything's moving up, and you can see it's just not doing much. There's a lot of wicks. It means there's a lot of sell pressure on it. But looking at the daily, you can see what and why. The 50 smooth moving average sits at 35.20. The 50 simple moving average sits at 33.45. We are stuck right in the middle of them, so it's pretty hard to trade. You do have a bullish fair value gap right on your 200 simple smooth moving average at about 25.35. That's why I think we don't go much lower than this, and then we work our way up, 39.40 to 42.98. If things go south here and we lose this 200, I think you head down to 28.74 to 26.57, and if things get really ugly, 23.97 to 21.14. I am concerned about this daily extension and where it sits and what happens from here. Our extension is now a lower high. We know we're headed into a bull market probably. So the question is, do we break out of this $39 to $4,200, or is that the absolute top of where we go? If we break out, I think $59 to $7,100 is your next target, but I think that's unlikely looking at the weekly. We're working up though, and if we look at the cipher, the RSI, the cipher has printed a buy signal, but we're kind of breaking out of this bearish divergence. So maybe we do have a little run here. But we'll watch this real close. We'll come back to it when we get there. 35 to 41 is kind of going to be our first stop, and then we'll consider 59 to 71. If we reject off of that weekly golden zone, I think it gets ugly, $2,000, and then I think you're headed on down even lower. But we're not gonna attack that just yet. Your extensions sit all the way down at about $342, so we'll burn that bridge when we can pull a fib and get a realistic target on that. But yeah, that kind of gets you through Ethereum, and that'll get you through the next couple of days to a week or so. But once we hit some resistance, I'll come back and we'll do another video on this. We'll figure it all out. So it does. It looks like we have some upside. That's pretty optimistic. We haven't had any of that in probably about 2 months. So it's kind of nice to talk about. All I talk about is downside. But I'm going to wrap it up here. Go ahead and check out all those links in my description, and go ahead and like, subscribe, tap that bell notification. You'll get updates as soon as we upload a video, and leave us a comment. I really enjoy reading them, and it helps the YouTube algorithm, and I can't thank you enough for that. But I'm going to wrap it up here. I got some more work to do out on the ranch. Got a meeting with the great Tyler Hill later. You're going to want to stick around to see what we're cooking up. But I'm going to wrap it up right here. Chris Hare, the world champion crypto cowboy. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you down the road.